Welcome to Compassion Camp at Good Shepherd on day 4. Our theme for the day is compassion along the way. And that means it's really about sort of decisions that we make, about moving forward in our lives, and how can we be compassionate to others in the middle of making really hard decisions. The story I have for you today is a hard story. It's sort of heavy too, and so I just want to let you know that. And so I want to tell you how you can listen to this story. I want you to listen to how the people in the story, how they make decisions based on compassion and love. And that's something that we can take out of hard stories. As we listen to how other people are compassionate and loving in the middle of hard times, then when we are in hard times, when we experience hard things, then we can practice the same kind of compassion and love. We can remember the way that they did it. So this is the story. The story goes like this. There was a man, his name was Elimelech. Now that's quite the name, right? Elimelech. Elimelech lived in Judah with his family. And unfortunately, there was a famine in Judah, and he wasn't sure how he was going to live. A famine is when there's no food. There's not enough food to eat, not just in the house, but nowhere around. Everyone around is hungry because there isn't enough. And so Elimelech decides to take his whole family, his wife, Naomi, and his 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, and he picks them up and he moves them to a different place, Moab, where there is no famine. And they live in Moab for a while, and Elimelech's 2 sons, Mahlon and Chilion, grow up in Moab, and they take wives. They find women they love and they marry them. The 2 women's names were Orpah and Ruth, and they married Naomi's sons. Now, sadly, Elimelech, and then Mahlon, and then Chilion, all die. So that all that's left is Naomi and her 2 daughter-in-laws, Orpah and Ruth. Now, Naomi grows lonely for her family. You can imagine she's a long way away from her family because Moab is a really long way away. And she decides she's going to go back to Judah where her family still is. And so she just starts to go. Well, Orpah and Ruth, they, of course, follow her because that's what daughter-in-laws did. Once they were married into the family, Naomi would have been their mom. But she says to them, no, go back to your families. Don't come with me. And may the Lord deal kindly with you as you have dealt with your husbands and with me. Peace be with you. Naomi doesn't want them to come along. She wants them to go away. And so Naomi gives them big hugs, Orpah and Ruth, because she loves them very much and they love her, and they weep together on the road. Well, Naomi tries to go, but then Orpah and Ruth are still following her. And she's like, no, you can't. Look, I've got nothing left to give you, right? Naomi is old and she does not have any husbands for her 2 daughter-in-laws. And so she wants them to have a chance to have a family, to get married and to have children. And so she says to them, no, I've got nothing to give you. Go back to your family. Go and have a chance at a new life. I've got nothing left. And all I have is sadness and bitterness in my heart because of it. Well, Orpah hears this and she gives Naomi a great big hug, and she decides that she's going to go back to her family like Naomi asked her to. And so she goes. But Ruth refuses to leave Naomi and continues to follow her along. Naomi says, no, don't stay with me. Go back with Orpah. But Ruth opens up to Naomi and says, no, please don't make me leave you. Where you go, I will go. Where you make your home, I will make your home. Your people will be my people. Your God will be my God. And where you die and are buried, I will be buried there too. I will be your family. When Naomi saw that she couldn't change Ruth's mind, her heart softened and she accepted Ruth, and they traveled back to Judah together. And Naomi took Ruth as her daughter and cared for her. And so that's where the story is going to stop for today. There is obviously a lot more to this story, but I'm not going to tell you about it today because I really want to focus on the decisions that Ruth and Orpah and Naomi had to make. You know, it's not easy to make hard decisions on what to do and what not to do. But when we're open to compassion, when we're open to how others are feeling and aware of it, like present with them, then we can make good decisions. I think actually that Orpah was really compassionate in her decision to go back to her parents and her family. She listened to what Naomi wanted, and so she went and did that. At the same time, Naomi was compassionate, asking for her two daughter-in-laws to go back to their families. And then Ruth was compassionate too, in that her love for Naomi, she didn't want to leave Naomi alone. And so her love and compassion as well. So all of them made decisions based on compassion and love. And because of that, I don't think any of the decisions they made were bad. They were all good, and they were all in line with what God wanted for a true and good community. So as you color your coloring sheet today, there's a couple questions I want you to think about. The first one is, I want you to know how does being compassionate help us be present to other people? Like, if being compassionate, how does it help us to be with somebody, to be aware of how they are feeling and to sit with them? And what do you think it means to be with people when they're hurting? Or how does it feel maybe when somebody is with you when you're hurting? How does that feel? And then maybe how can you help other people when they're hurting? How can you be with someone when they're hurting? What would that look like? Also, it'd be great for you to think about the story and how people feel at each different part. How do you think Elimelech and Naomi and Malone and Chilion felt about moving to a different and strange place? How do you think that Ruth and Orpah and Naomi felt when their husbands died? How do you think they felt when they parted ways? Orpah and Naomi and Ruth parted ways on the road. How do you think Naomi really felt when Ruth decided to stay with her? There's lots of people to think about in the story and how they feel at different points. And I want you to think about that and think about maybe ways that, or feelings that they're having that maybe you've had too, so that we can practice compassion. So that's what I've got for you today, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. It's the last story tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you. Take care, okay? Have a great day. Bye.